So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. Guys, I want to talk about a fight that I think could make sense, but that doesn't get talked about. And actually, both fighters are kind of dismissive of it as well. Billy Joe Saunders against Chris Eubank. Do you think Billy Joe Saunders beats Chris Eubank again? Someone's mentioned this to me, and I thought I'll do a video on it because I think it's a very underrated fight, and I know a lot of the boxing fans will think that Billy Joe Saunders beats him again, does it more convincingly. But I'm not too convinced, if I'm honest with you, because a lot of people said, well, Billy Joe Saunders schooled Chris Eubank. I don't know what you guys saw, because I saw a fight that was very close and a split decision, which I thought Billy Joe probably deserved. However, Eubank's got better. Billy Joe's come on, and I think he's obviously going to be a lot fitter going into the fight if he has a rematch with Eubank. But I think it's a massive domestic fight. I think it's a huge, and it's a world level fight because, you know, Eubank, although he's never won a legitimate world title, he's still, in my opinion, a quality world level operator. He's beaten some good fighters at world level. I just think stylistically, he struggles against movers and guys that, you know, have fast feet and can move around and box. I think stylistically, his style, he struggles against guys like that. If now that he's with Roy Jones, if he can add to his game and quicken up his feet, because he's flat-footed, let's be honest, he's got fast hands, but he's flat-footed. And I feel that he struggles to close the distance because his feet are so flat. A good boxer just sticks a jab in his face and moves around like George Groves does. And George Groves by no means is a slick boxer. George Groves is he's a good boxer, but he's by no means a slickster. And he troubled Eubank massively, but that was a while ago. Since then, you know, Eubank's had some decent wins. You know, he fought Abraham. He fought I don't know whether that was before Groves actually, but the Groves fight was a fight which I think a lot of people thought that a lot of people picked Eubank to win that. They expected him to beat Groves, but he couldn't do the job. Groves was just too, he old-manned him really. He was just too clever, and Eubank's flaws came to surface. Now, if Roy Jones can work on those flaws, fix those flat feet, and help Eubank close the distance, those fast hands are a problem, right? And those fast hands, in my opinion, stylistically, if Eubank can get quicker on his feet, all of a sudden, in my opinion, that fight becomes very difficult for Billy Joe. At the minute, I would pick Billy Joe because I don't think Eubank has corrected those flaws. And I think Billy Joe will be the favorite, and rightfully so. He's the better boxer, better technically sound fighter. He's also very quick on his feet. He's got fast hands. Also, not as quick as Eubank. You know, Eubank's a lot quicker in terms of combination punches. You know, he puts his punches together a lot faster. However, he hasn't got fast feet. He hasn't got fast feet at all. And it's all right having fast hands, but you've got to have fast feet in order to, you know, complement the fast hands that he's got. And unfortunately, those feet that he's got are like very flat-footed, and he can easily be outboxed. And I say this to say this, like, everyone knows on my channel that I've been a massive Khan fan throughout my time since I've been watching boxing. And Khan also had very fast hands, right? The difference between Khan and Eubank is that Khan had also fast feet. And when he fought against a style like Billy Joe Saunders, against a slick boxer, a guy that's looking to box and win rounds like Saunders is, Amir Khan used to dismantle those type of fighters. Why? Because he had fast feet and fast hands, and he used to win the rounds. He used to outwork a good boxer every day. And he that kind of style had no chance of beating Amir Khan. The only style that could beat him were the guys that were physical, that would throw when he's throwing. The physical fighters like the Maidanas, the Garcias, you know, that would throw a punch when he's throwing. A typical boxer looks to outbox you, right? He looks to win rounds, right? They don't go and throw caution to the wind or look to, you know, take risks like that. They don't take risks. They look to box smartly behind the jab, and they box in a smart manner. They're not reckless. They're not willing to take the risks that maybe a puncher or some of the more wild fighters like the Maidanas and Garcias are willing to do. That's why he was so successful against a pure boxer. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because for me, Eubank, if he can get faster feet with the kind of hand speed he's got, he would be a problem for boxers. And let's not forget, Chris Eubank's also got a granite chin as well. Right? He's also got a granite chin. He's got a very good chin. So for me, Chris Eubank, that problem, that big flaw that he's got being flat-footed, and it's not, here's the thing, Canelo at times can be flat-footed, but Canelo's his ring IQ's on another level. He's very educated with his feet. He might look flat-footed, but he's very educated, and those feet have got a better and better as time has gone on. With Eubank, we haven't really seen that much improvement. Now, the only time we're going to see it is if he fights a Billy Joe Saunders, somebody that can, stick and move and give him the trouble that we've seen in the past by a mover. The two, like Billy Joe Saunders was the fighter before that gave Eubank trouble, where Eubank didn't really land many punches. Eubank at times against guys that box and move looks really wild and looks he looks like an amateur almost. I remember against Groves, he was swinging wildly, like, just no setting up his punches, just swinging wildly, and he looked really bad in that fight. Although it was by no means he was completely demolished, but he looked bad. Technically looked off. He looked awful. This is what I'm saying. If Roy Jones can work on the flaw that Chris Eubank's got and improve that flaw, for me, he's a problem for guys like Billy Joe Saunders or any good boxer, because I feel he'll outwork you because he throws so many punches. His dad's right when he said, my son throws so many punches and he'll outwork most guys. Yes, you're right, but he's got to get close. He's got to close the distance. Unfortunately, his feet are not closing the distance, and his fast hands are no good if he's not up and close to, he's not in range. If his feet are too slow and he's not in range, how's he going to land those fast hands? Because a good boxer is always going to be boxing and moving out of distance, and his feet are too slow to close the distance. So for me, if Eubank can correct that flaw, or not even correct it, improve that flaw, right? Because he's never going to be a nimble, foot fighter. He's never going to be a Prince Nassim, or he's never going to be a Khan where he can move quickly with his feet. But even if he can improve that, for me, he could be a formidable fighter at middleweight. And guys like Billy Joe Saunders would really struggle, just because, like I said, his hand speed is something else. His hand speed he's really quick. It's just that at times, because of his slow feet, he's not, he's out of range, and he's throwing wild punches. It looks like he's missing because he's out of range and throwing wild punches, and then he gets desperate and looks even more wild, and then looks like an amateur. But if he can correct that flaw, I think he could be a serious problem in the middleweight division. I do, because let's not forget, he's tough as old boots. He's got a granite chin. He's a good fighter. He's got a lot of attributes that can be a top level fighter, but he's got a flaw that's a big flaw at world level. That's a big flaw. Now, if he has improved on that flaw, then, like I said, I would like to see the rematch between Billy Joe Saunders and Eubank anyway, just because I think it's an intriguing matchup and an intriguing fight, and a fight that I think would make good viewing. I think it's a good fight, especially if Eubank, like I said, has improved on his weaknesses. I think it's definitely a fight. And let's not forget, Billy Joe Saunders has hardly looked, like a killer. It's not like he's moved on leaps and bounds and he's destroying guys at world level. He's also a guy that's not really fighting the top level guys. And, his best wins against Lemieux and Andy Lee. And would Eubank beat Lemieux and Andy Lee? I'm very confident he beats Andy Lee. Would he beat David Lemieux? I think so. I think he'd beat David Lemieux. I think he could beat the crap out of David Lemieux. But however, David Lemieux does have a punch. But Eubank's never really had a problem in the chin department. He's always had a very good chin. So I would favour him in probably both fights. The Lemieux fight would be dangerous just because Eubank's not Billy Joe, and Eubank doesn't look to box, and Lemieux can punch, he can crack for sure. But again, I would favour Eubank going into those fights, because again, Lemieux's technically not great either. But yeah, I think a fight between Billy Joe and Eubank for me makes a lot of sense. It's a fight that I love to see. A lot of people would think that Billy Joe schools him easier than he did the first time. I don't know. I don't know, because like I said, Billy Joe hasn't looked impressive to me in certain fights. Even against Martin Murray, he didn't look, yeah, he won, but that was an aging Murray, and Murray hit him quite a few times. That's why when people say that Billy Joe Saunders is so slick and he doesn't get hit, Eubank caught him, Andy Lee caught him, Martin Murray caught him. You know, these are all guys that caught him, and I do think if Eubank can, can correct his flaw, I think he could outpoint Billy Joe Saunders, just because of, like I said, he could outwork him because he throws so many punches and he's so fast. The main problem Eubank has is he can't close the distance. He's throwing wild punches because his feet are so slow and he can't close the range. And it's easy for guys like Billy Joe Saunders, who are nimble feet and fast of hands also, not as fast as Eubank, like I said, but he can just outbox him. He can just, box and move. And it's easy for Billy Joe Saunders. But if he can correct that flaw, then I feel that Eubank's a serious problem for Billy Joe Saunders. But it all comes down to, can he correct that flaw? Can he correct it? I don't know. Roy, he's got one of the greatest pound for pound fighters in his corner, who knows a lot about the game. So I'm pretty sure Roy Jones will be working on that, and he has to be working on that, because we know that he's definitely got a weakness in that department. So if Roy Jones can improve that, I think Chris Eubank could be a dangerous fighter at world level. Whether he wins a legitimate world title, I don't know. I think it all depends. Sometimes, you get an opponent which, is made for you. And there's certain styles that Eubank, like Avni Yildirim, for example. That style for Eubank, a guy that comes and likes to have a tear up and fight, that style Eubank's going to excel in, because Eubank's got a great chin. He's very fast of hands. It's the guys the movers that he struggles with. So if, like I said, he can correct that flaw, he could become a formidable world level fighter. Eubank has got it. Don't get it twisted. Eubank has got it. Eubank's got the ability. He's got talent. There's no doubt about it. It's just that there's a flaw there that's stopping him fighting against a certain style. And most good boxers at world level would know that, would know Chris Eubank's weakness, and in my opinion, would box and move against him, because that's what you've got to do. Now, not every fighter has that ability, but majority of world level fighters can stick a jab in your face and move around. And Eubank, if he can, like I said, if he can correct that flaw of his feet and learning how to close distance, then he's a problem. He's definitely a problem, because Eubank is got fast hands. When you got that kind of speed, you're a problem for anybody, because he is very fast of hands, just slow feet, just very flat-footed, and that's his problem, and that's where he's come unstuck. So if you can correct that, there is a great chance that he can do something at world level. And I'm talking against the likes of Andrade, the Charlos. He can do some damage. A lot of people think Liam Williams beats him. I don't think so. I think Liam Williams, I like Liam Williams. I think he's a guy he's a very good fighter. An underrated fighter. Liam Williams is a very good fighter. And actually, Liam Smith beat Liam Williams. And everyone says, oh, Liam Smith beat Liam Williams. Liam Smith is a very good fighter. He's another underrated fighter. Was a former world champion. Very, very, for me, again, Liam Smith's another quality fighter. Liam Williams is a quality fighter. And I'd like to see that fight between Williams and Eubank. Let's see what both of them. I think it's a good step up for both where they're at, because Liam Williams right now, he's got the bit between his teeth. He wants a world title shot. But I'm pretty sure he'd give that up to fight Eubank. And if Eubank beats Liam Williams, he becomes a mandatory for Andrade, and that all of a sudden becomes a big fight, and a fight that makes a lot of sense for Andrade. Right now, Andrade is looking at Liam Williams. It's not really a big fight, but Liam Williams just wants to fight. He wants to prove he's a quality fighter, and a fight with Eubank makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't mind seeing that. But Billy Joe Saunders, Chris Eubank is definitely a fight that I would be interested in, just to see where they both are right now. Is Billy Joe Saunders going to be too good and school Eubank like most people think? Or is Eubank going to correct his flaws and become a problem in the middleweight division? Only time will tell, I guess. But leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think Eubank can beat Billy Joe, or do you think it's going to be repeat? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And guys, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.